Hi, welcome back to part 2 of 3, chapter 14. We're still going over health, illness, and body. Okay, so Chinese medicine today. It's another global health system that most of us are actually decently familiar with. After Western biomedicine, Chinese ethnomedicine is the most widely practiced medical system. Chinese medicine envisions health as achieving a proper balance between heaven and earth, or the major forces of the universe. Each living being is viewed as having an energy referred to as qi, typically translated as breath or air. It is this qi that must be balanced within the body to achieve health. Illnesses are thought to occur when the qi is blocked in some way. Traditional Chinese medicine practices are focused on restoring balance to the body's qi. Common practices include acupuncture, acupressure, as well as therapeutic massages, and the consumption of healing herbs and teas, all of which are thought to improve the flow of the body's qi. This Chinese health system, or system of ethnomedicine, is widely practiced in China today, although with some regional variations. Biomedicine may also have regional variations. You may recall your text stating that British doctors are much less concerned with blood pressure and cholesterol than their American counterparts are. Chinese ethnomedicine is widely practiced in other parts of the world, including the United States. While the system may not widely be supported by Western bioscience, it is widely supported by millions of people who proclaim its effectiveness. I don't know if any of you have ever tried acupuncture or whatnot, but it's relaxing, if nothing else. I like it. So, how do different cultural concepts of the body affect health practices? What exactly is the body? And what does the body mean, especially across different cultural contexts? Different cultures and their different medical traditions have different ways of understanding the body. Anthropological research challenges the idea of body as an isolated, natural, and universal object. Instead, we recognize that culture shapes bodies and how bodies experience life and move through the world around them. Take, for example, a famous incident recorded at a Western teaching hospital. The teacher presented a case to her students about a woman who was suffering from chronic and debilitating headaches. When the patient was asked about her headache, she responded with her personal details. She recounted how her alcoholic husband beat her, how she was stuck in the house almost every day caring for her ailing mother-in-law, and how she was worried about her teenage son who was failing out of high school. One of the medical students raised a hand and asked, "But what is the real cause of her headache?" The student was so focused on what he saw as biomedical reality, or what he wanted to know, the neurochemical process that created the pain in the patient's head, that he completely skipped past the cultural basis of the stress factors in the woman's life. The human microbiome. This is a typical microbiological notion of discrete, treatable, individual body, really based on science. Recently, scientific evidence suggests that our body is not just independent or self-containing as we thought. Work on the human microbiome, that is the complete collection of microorganisms in the body's ecosystem shows that there's a lot of unique life inside the human body. It isn't its own solitary individual unit. Kind of gross, I know, but it is what it is. We not only tolerate these organisms that live with us, but we also need them for processes such as digestion, synthesizing vitamins, spurring the development of body parts, and so on. Understanding the body as a larger unit containing many smaller units of life offers new pathways for the invention of treatment of both common and rare diseases. So, the body in childbirth across cultures, hugely different. Women all over the globe go through the same biological processes in order to have a baby. Well, the biological process does not change. The cultural perceptions of childbirth do. We talked about this when we were reading Nissa quite a bit, and how the women of the Kung end up having their children by themselves. They don't have any pain medications, and it's just completely different. In an anthropological study of birth, Bridget Jones and Robbie Davis Floyd examined childbirth practices in 4 different countries: the United States, Holland, Sweden, and Mexico. Let's look first at the United States. In the United States, childbirth is viewed specifically as a medical procedure. At the time of labor, women are brought to the hospital and often rushed to the emergency room, occasionally even in an ambulance. The woman is checked in as a patient in the hospital, and she's attended by nurses and doctors. In many cases, the doctors prep for surgery, either as a planned event or in case of perceived emergency. Both the mother and her child are hooked up to various medical equipment monitors. A few other people are allowed in the room at the time, maybe the father and another close relatives, but everyone else must wait outside. Pain medicine is administered to the mother only if the doctor deems it necessary. The anthropologist noted that the study that women giving birth knew that they would only receive pain medication if the doctor thought they were unusual or in excessive amounts of pain. As a result, the women were unconsciously encouraged to act out or perform their pain. Only if they expressed enough pain would they actually be given the medicine. Now let's look at Mexico. The process of childbirth in the rural Yucatan is extraordinarily different than the process in the United States. Yet women continue to have happy, healthy babies. In the Yucatan, when it's a woman's time arrives to give birth, she either returns home or stays in her home. She is already there. A midwife is fetched to assist with the birth, and the woman stays in her own home and sits in her own hammock. That's the traditional bedding of the Yucatan. The floor is made of dirt, no doctors are present, and the environment is certainly not a sterile hospital room. In addition to the midwife, the birth can be attended by many other people, including the woman's husband, who is present throughout, and her close female relatives. This family group stays around the woman throughout the childbirth process, supporting her and offering her encouragement. When it comes to pain, no drugs are available for the woman to use. So it is really different. We could talk about all of the different ones, but that's a really good dichotomy to look at the differences. Drugs versus no drugs, lots of people versus no one really present, sterile versus normal. So, the body and disability. As anthropological research has expanded to focus on the body, it comes with the expansion of research on disability, the embodied experience of people with impairments such as shape of the broader form of the social inequality. Anyone can experience disability, and most people will experience some sort of disability at some point in their lives. Anthropologists study how disability is not just situated in the body, but also socially defined by social and material cultures that disable and impaired people considered to be atypical in a particular culture. In fact, some scholars consider being able-bodied to be temporary condition, as most people via age or illness will experience some form of disability in their life. So what can anthropologists do? Part of the goal of medical anthropological research is to help find a solution to healthcare problems around the globe. By bringing a cultural perspective to light, anthropologists can often help to solve long-standing problems. After visiting the rural village of King in Haiti in 1983, American Paul Farmer was inspired to return to the United States and enroll in Harvard Medical School and doctoral program in anthropology. Farmer had observed rampant levels of disease through the community, including levels of infant mortality, malnutrition, typhoid, diphtheria, HIV, and tuberculosis. Farmer felt that this problem was too deeply constructed to be solved by simple institution of a Western health system. And before finishing his degree at Harvard, he began to visit and live with people in this area. Through living with the people and learning their language and cultures, including local beliefs about health and illness, Farmer was able to better respond to the health crisis going on in rural Haiti. Using the knowledge he gained through fieldwork and participant observation, Farmer partnered with a local priest named Fritz Lafonte. Together they launched the Partners in Health. This group was a phenomenal success, leading to improved standards of living provided in Haiti and serving as many as 1.2 million people. This clearly demonstrates the ability of anthropological approach to bringing success to health and wellness campaigns. So, do the different cultural concepts of body affect health practices? Of course. So, let's see. Poor health is strongly correlated with low economic, social, and political standards. If you're among the powerless, you are far more likely to be unhealthy. This tragedy is easily evident in comparing average life expectancies among the different countries. In 2010, Japan had the highest life expectancy at 82.6 years. The lowest life expectancy rating was found in Swaziland of just 39.6 years. The United States was ranked 36 with a life expectancy of 78.3. The variability wealth core nations are found at the top of the list and the poor peripheral nations at the bottom. So, the subdiscipline of critical medical anthropology has emerged to study the disparities in health around the globe. Specifically, critical medical anthropology investigates how economic and political systems, race, class, gender, and sexuality create and perpetuate unequal access to health care, and how the health systems themselves are systems of power that generate disparity, and the health by defining who's sick, who gets treated, and how. The last issue of who is sick is particularly important. Recall our concept of health and illness includes mental and social well-being. These are highly cultural in their definition and affect who defines as sick. So they are highly cultural in their definitions, and who is defined as sick we consider mental and social problems. Yep. This is the end of part 2 of 3. I'll see you in a minute.